Anyways, we're moving on to our final pick of this week. This is a Patreon pick. Thank you, whoever picked it. I can't remember your name.
Lucas Ledet.
Lucas Ledet, yeah. We've got Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, the 1964 film. This movie was an absolute travesty.
I didn't see that one.
Thank God, Blake. Thank God. What a waste of time it would have been.
Can I do the plot synopsis?
Yeah, go for it, Tanner.
Man.
So it's Christmas time. Christmas time is here. And we are introduced to Martians. And their whole problem is their kids are sad. Their kids are sad. And they're like, oh, I see the kids on Earth and they're having fun, but I'm a Martian kid and I'm sad and boring. And then the Martians are like, well, what the fuck? Why are our kids sad and boring despite our entire society being sad and boring? And then we're on Earth, and there's some kids, and they're Christmasing, and also Santa Claus is just real, and everyone accepts that. It's all good. Everyone knows that Santa Claus is, in fact, real, and they're all chill with it.
Reporters outside of his factory.
Yeah, just talking to the guy.
Exactly. And so the Martians decide they need to kidnap Santa, and so they fly over to Earth, and they're flying around, they're like, what the fuck? There's so many Santas down here. And so they go up to some kids. They're like, hey, where's a Santa? And they're like, those aren't real Santa. The real Santa's in the North Pole. And then they kidnap those kids. They fucking take them. And then they show up to Santa Claus's workshop, and they assault it, and they capture Santa, and they take him to Mars. Hilarity ensues, a lot of it on the spaceship. And then they get back to Mars. They're like, Santa, you're gonna teach the Martians the spirit of Christmas. And then some other Martian is just really into Santa, and so he kind of figures out how to do Santa's whole shtick. And so they're like, fine, we'll let Santa go back home. And then it's a happy ending for everyone, and now the Martians have their Martian Santa.
Yeah. I forgot about the big conflict where there's that fucking dickhead just constantly trying to sabotage them the entire fucking time. He's like about to send Santa Claus and the kid up the fucking airlock into space.
He sure did want to do that. He's just kind of an asshole who, for some reason, is like, I want our Martian kids need to be sad, damn it. They need to be sad and boring for some reason.
Yeah, he's willing to kill these innocents because of it. What an asshole.
So getting into it, the first thing that popped out to me and made me a bit worried about this film is the first time we see the Martians, it is two black children. And I immediately thought, oh no, did this 1960s movie decide all of the Martians were just going to be black people in weird costumes? Luckily, that is not the case.
No, sir. No, sir, it was not. Now, Tanner, I must ask, because it sounds like you were much higher on this film than we were, how exactly did you go about watching this film? Did you watch it with a group of friends again, so you guys were like riffing on it or something?
No, I watched it by myself.
I see. That's much more worrying. So, Tanner, how'd you feel about this film overall, would you say?
Honestly, I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny because it's bad, to be clear. I was chortling at it the whole time. I was like, ho, 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 he, he. I find it funny. So, like, I think the reason Lucas suggested this is apparently this is like an infamous, like, cult classic B film.
Yeah.
Like, people love this shit because it's bad. But yeah, I love the inconsistency in the costumes. They're just constantly changing what they kind of look like, especially the face paint. Like, sometimes it's really well painted and whatever, and other times it's like all splotchy and whatever, and it just randomly changes from scene to scene. Dude, the fucking
wife, she was just always god-awful for some reason. Like, hers always looked like shit.
Yeah. I like when they run into the kids and they have a very realistic looking machine gun and they're pointing it right at these kids, and then the guy just goes, don't be afraid. I'm like, dude, you're pointing an actual dead ass gun at them. What are you talking about? That polar bear costume.
Oh yeah, that was god awful.
Polar bear was insane. It's like a fucking really low quality 60s fursuit. Basically.
It was like a high school mascot costume.
Yeah, it was
that
rough.
shit was hilarious, man.
Yeah, and then the robot that followed it up, it looked just like the fucking robot from like SpongeBob's Nightmare, you know, if you guys recall that episode.
That's true, yeah.
Let's see, I have written down here, it brings joy to my heart to know this movie was made earnestly. Like, this was something people were putting effort into.
Yeah.
That's awesome and very funny to me. I like it when the robot attacks the workshop, how fucking nonchalant people are. Like, he bursts in the door, he flips over a table, I think he, like, punches an elf, and everyone's just standing there looking at him. And then Santa just goes, wow, that's the biggest toy I've ever seen.
And then it stops.
And then it's just his. He just owns the robot now.
He's like a Mr. Mixelplix, you know? He's a fifth-dimensional imp who can just will things into existence.
Yeah, I suppose so. Now, Tanner Nikolai,
Yeah.
contrary to you, okay? Like, a complete 180 here, dude. Compared to, like, Waxwork, which I believe was a so good it's bad movie, this was just bad.
You mean so bad it's good?
Yes. This was
Yeah,
just
so good it's
bad.
bad.
Like,
Yeah,
there are...
unlike Waxwork...
There are no
gonna say, like,
redeeming
unlike-
qualities to this film whatsoever, I'd say. It was just whatever word I'm trying to think of bad.
Yeah, like, unlike Waxworks for me, I honestly just didn't really think it was that funny. Like, it definitely had some funny moments, but most of it was just incredibly boring for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wanted the movie to be done with, like, a quarter of the way through, and that's just how I thought it was for most of it.
There were
Like,
so
I was definitely-
fucking many just super drawn out scenes where nothing is happening, okay?
Oh, yeah. It's so awkward, the entire movie, especially the dialogue. Earth just kind of figures out, like, cross solar system travel. Like, they're like, oh, Santa's gone. We now have figured out like intercelestial travel 5 years before the moon landing, mind you.
They need to do this.
Now, Jackson, you were about to say something before. What was it?
I can't remember.
It was something about the movie being really bad and you were comparing it to Waxwork.
I think that just went into my diatribe that I mentioned after you started stopped talking.
Santa Claus's laughter is insane. This entire movie, he sounds like a fucking supervillain. I don't know if you guys took notice of that.
No, definitely
Like
not.
they're like, I don't know how you guys didn't know. Like, you imagine that a Santa Claus laughter is supposed to be like, no, literally the way this guy laughs throughout this movie is like, no, it's like, I was cracking up at that shit.
He is very boisterous, is all.
I literally have that written down, like, twice. I have Jesus Christ, what is this laughter? Immediately followed by Santa's laugh is so fucking menacing. And then, we get a nice epic fight scene at the end. Where it's like, looks terrible, very funny.
Yeah, just as, like, they're, like, supposed to be, like, fighting him with toys or some bullshit. And so, like, throughout that entire scene, they just keep, like, panning to, like, fucking toys. They're not doing anything to him. They're just there.
And he just freezes like,
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. I love that shit. Anyway, that's all my thoughts on the movie.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about this, to be honest. I just wanted it to be over.
It sounds silly.
It wasn't silly, though, Blake. That's the sad part.
It was silly.
It wasn't.
If you have a sense of humor, it was silly.
This movie was shit, okay? It was terrible. Nothing was good
was
about
shit
it.
in a funny way, though.
The only positive that I can throw it here, okay, is that nothing about it made me, like, physically, like, ugh, and want to turn it off, okay? That's it. That's the only reason it is not getting F-. This is an F-tier movie.
You said it's from the 60s, right?
Yeah, 1964.
Yeah. Movies that old, I kind of, like, cut them a little slack just because...
No,
like,
Blake, there were good movies back then.
Well,
like what?
I don't know, Planet of the Apes or some
like,
bullshit. When did that come out?
I'm just saying, like movies were still kind of a new thing back then. Like, whoa, movies. Let's watch one.
Not to burst your bubble, Blake, but we've been making movies since, like, the 1910s.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying, though. Like, it's still, like, a relatively new thing that people do, like, in the grand...
Sure. That's fair enough.
Anyways, yeah, the Invasion of the Body Snatchers was made before this, and I thought that was a much more entertaining movie than this piece of garbage. Anyways, I'm also going with Nico and literally saying this is an F-tier movie. I thought it was really bad. Listen, man, I thought it had some funny moments, but it was just so fucking boring for most of it. I just didn't really get any of enjoyment out of it, to be completely honest.
I think you guys are crazy. I'm putting this at a C tier.
C tier, I honestly expected you to say something like an A. That is shocking.
Me
to
too.
Well, that puts us at a D-. Another one right on the cusp. We've got 3 D minuses.
Come on, Tanner.
Are
We
we
can
ever
just give it
gonna-
like a C- or something here.
Fucking hilarious.
Yeah, we're just are impossible to get an
I
F tier
think-
movie.